Welcome. I'm Dr. Lisbeth Klaas. I'm one of the staff members of the Ancient History staff and also the coordinator of the Ancient History program. I will not do this presentation alone today. I have two sidekicks. Maybe they can introduce themselves first.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Dennis Verleeuwen and I am the study advisor for the MA and Research MA.
Hello everyone, I am Florence Cobban. I'm a second year research master student in the Ancient History track, and I'm also a student assistant to the Ancient History lecturers and professors.
So welcome to the presentation of the Master in Ancient History, which is part of the History program, which recently was ranked first in the QS World University rankings for the continental Europe. On the slide, you can see a photo of the Ancient History staff. And you can see we are a small team, but we have an enormous passion for antiquities. Studying at Leiden is a huge opportunity to learn more about the university, the city and its history. And maybe you know already ancient history from our publication, the SEG, the epigraphical publication SEG, but also our renowned Papyrological Institute. And both these auxiliary sources, so epigraphics and papyrology, can be still be taught of be learned in our educational program, but more on that later. So, what's on the program today? So after this welcome, I will explain you the research lines of the Ancient History research program. Then I will introduce you to all the lectures, workshops and optional courses that you can take in our MA program. Then I will tell you something about the thesis subjects and also the thesis defense, and I will also give you some more information on the prospective job market for ancient historians. And we will end with a question round and give you some actual information on the contact information. If you have already questions for us, the chat is open, so please do write down your questions in the chat and we will answer your questions after the whole presentation. Then, an extra note for the ones who are interested in our research master in ancient history, which Florence follows. I can tell you that this research master has more or less, or actually the same courses as the normal master in ancient history, but the students who are following the research master, they have the opportunity to take some extra because the whole program is spread over 2 years. And besides that, they can also take up some academic courses where they train their research skills. Check our website if you think you are eligible for this research master, and there you can also see how to apply. So, the research in Leiden is focused on the study of economies, societies, and religion of the large empires of the Greco-Roman world. And that from Alexander the Great to the late Roman Empire. Therefore, our research group is also known as the Unification of the Mediterranean World Research Group. And we have in that research program 2 major research lines. So the first deals with the history of mentality and religion of the Greco-Roman world, and the second one is dealing with the social-economic history of the Greek and Roman worlds. All our courses are interlinked with these 2 research lines. And besides that, we are also very proud that we have a strong focus on primary sources such as inscriptions, papyri, coinage and legal text that are also implemented in our history program. In the history program, every study takes on a literature seminar of 10 ECTS. This is a very intensive literature study centered around a theme, a current scholarly debate, or a topic from classic studies. Students make weekly assignments here and they end the course with writing a final paper of circa 3,000 words. Florence, may I ask, what was your literature seminar about, and what were your experience with this seminar?
Well, the literature course was one of the first courses I took in this master's, and it was by far one of the hardest courses I ever took. It was about the impact that Henk Versnell, an emeritus professor here at Leiden University, had on ancient religion and also his theory of cognitive dissonance. We had to read so much every week, and we also, like you said, had weekly assignments. So it was very intense, but at the same time, it was really, because it was so intense, it was a good introduction into academic debate. We had to be so well read every single week, and because we were so familiar with the secondary literature, we could really discuss the validity of his claims, his theories, all of that. So it definitely made sure that I didn't underestimate this course, but it was also very valuable.
Thank you, Florence. So indeed, the literature seminar is quite intensive, but it covers only half of a semester. Besides the literature seminar, students also take up a research seminar, and that is for the full semester. This research semester, again, is about literary sources, but then combined with a study on original source materials or published primary sources. And the aim is that the students do some more enhanced research, and that they also present and write on that research, and that they all have or train the ability to evaluate the findings of other researchers. For the paper in this research seminar, the students have the freedom of choice in topic, so they can compose fully their own research and in their final paper, which then is around circa 2,000 words. On the next slide, you see a short overview of research seminars given in the previous years. And as you will see, our lectures will always try to link their research seminar topics with our research, the major research lines of the Unification of the Mediterranean World team. But you also see that they have sometimes some actual teams. Florence, I'm very curious. Have you already chosen this research seminar, and what was it about?
Yeah, so last year I took the research seminar From Dusk Till Dawn, which is the first research seminar on the slide. It was led by Kim Bearden, and it focused on the ancient world at night. It was definitely my favorite course of that year. Not only was the topic just interesting, but it provided a whole new perspective on the ancient world. And in comparison to the literature seminar, it's a lot more paced, and the focus was definitely on developing your skills as a researcher, and I became more aware of the processes that I went through and how to be more effective in my own research. So I really enjoyed that course.
Thank you. Then students can choose to follow one or two research workshops. We have one on the study of inscriptions, so that's the study of epigraphy. And we have one on the study of coins, that is the discipline of numismatics. In both research workshops, students will learn to read and interpret these ancient primary sources. And of course, there are also some excursions, for example, to the National Museum of Antiquities here in Leiden. Florence, you're now following my research workshop in numismatics. Can you tell me something more about that?
Yes, I can. So the workshop just got started, but I'm already learning a lot. This is one of the courses where you have to take an entry test, and so you immediately pick up on what your strengths and weaknesses are when you're dealing with these primary sources that you don't usually interact with. So, for example, I know straight away that I'm way too focused on iconography and other aspects of the coins, like its monetary value or its physical attributes. I'm just totally out of my depth whenever I get anything approaching that. So these courses, these research workshop courses, they really help train you to have primary source skills, unlike the research seminars, which is about developing as a researcher, and the literature seminars, which is about academic debate. I would say that would be my experiences with those courses. But that said, they are super valuable outside of just the context of the primary source. You gain skills that you don't really expect to get. So, for example, I was in the Dutch National Museum of Antiquities on Monday, and I realized that I could read an inscription there that I would never been able to read before, because the style was written like the one I recognize from a coin. So it's definitely a first great introduction for people who are still scared of primary sources or of ancient languages, I would say.
Thank you. Besides the mandatory literature seminar, the research seminar, and the research workshops, students have to choose some other optional courses, and that for 10 ECTS. And there's a wide range of options here. An optional course could be an extra literature seminar or a research seminar. It could be an extra research workshop in numismatics and epigraphy. You can choose also from master courses outside the master history program, for example, at the Leiden University, and there I can recommend you to do the papyrology workshop. Or you can go and search for a master from another Dutch university, or even from a university abroad. Or you can travel to one of our Dutch institutes in Rome, in Athens, or in Istanbul. And besides all these options, there is yet another option, and that is that students can also choose to do an internship in the Netherlands or abroad. But more on that within a minute. First, I want to ask Florence, have you already chosen an optional course, or did you do a summer course abroad?
Yeah, so I am planning on taking the epigraphy course as well, but so far I've already taken 2 research seminars. So besides the From Dusk Till Dawn course, I also took an extra course on Roman Africa, which was taught by Professor de Licht. And I'd never really been offered the opportunity before to be taught on Roman Africa. So just like From Dusk Till Dawn, it was a totally new perspective on the ancient world. And again, the focus was on developing as a researcher, but in my experience, every single professor has a different approach to this, so you develop as a researcher in different ways. So I would definitely recommend taking 2 research seminars because you never know how you can develop in that area. But besides that, I've also started looking into taking courses outside of the research master. In my case, I'd like to take a course from the English literature track, which is within the faculty, and maybe another course in the archaeology track, which is its own separate faculty here. With both, what you want to do is make sure ahead of time that you meet the entry requirements for the course, otherwise you just sort of waste your time. And something you also want to do is get permission from the board of examiners to take the course, because otherwise at the end of the course you will have completed it and these points cannot count towards your ECTs.
Yeah, thank you. Very interesting plans for the future, Florence.
Yeah.
For then the internship. So students have to find an internship place for themselves, that in the Netherlands or abroad. If you have questions about such kind of places where you can do an internship, just please ask the staff members of Ancient History, of course. And at Leiden University, we also have the Faculty Career Service, and you can see their website on this slide. And they actually post vacancies for internships on a weekly basis, so plenty of opportunities there to find an internship. And then I also have to mention to you that for an internship, and if you want to implement that internship into your educational program, you need to have an internship assignment within the internship organization. And that assignment needs to be in line with the skills obtained during your ancient history program. But just ask the staff members or our study advisor for more about that. What can I show you? I can show the places where our students previously have done an internship, for example, at these following institutions and museums, such as the Boerhaven Museum, the UNESCO, the National Museum of Antiquities, of course. So there are many, many opportunities here. Floor, do you have any internship plans or wishes or...
Well, right now I am interning at the Dutch National Museum of Antiquities, and it's definitely super valuable. It's a totally different context. You get to directly interact with the material culture of the ancient world. I don't take this course within the official internship track, so definitely do at least what recommended and set up a plan. with your internship institute, because it would have been nice. It would have been nice. But I definitely recommend taking an internship. It's great.
But it is fantastic that
It
you
is
can do an
fantastic.
internship
Yeah.
at the Dutch National Museum of
Absolutely.
Antiquities, because actually there you can directly interact with the ancient material. But that said, yeah, just please, if you want to incorporate your internship, please make sure that you have a research plan that you incorporate and discuss with your internship organization. Finally, students are required to write a thesis, of course, to graduate as a master. And here at with ancient history, you can choose your topic of your own, but we advise you that this topic or thesis topic is in line with our two major research lines. So that's the history of mentality and religion, and on the other hand, the socio-economic history and antiquity. And besides that, you can also choose your preferred supervisor that will supervise your thesis. On the slide, you see some of the topics that have been submitted before. So all very interesting. And when these topics were submitted, you will give the chance to present, to defend your thesis, and that's done in the prestigious Academy building here at Leiden, which is just a final step for graduating as a master. Florence, talking about theses, do you have already chosen the topic?
Yes, so I'm working on my master's thesis right now in the research line of history of mentality and religion of the Greco-Roman world. My thesis actually grew out of one of the courses here that I already talked about, From Dusk Till Dawn, which is another reason why I'd recommend taking those courses, because they really help you orient what your research interests are and what you would like to pursue. My paper will be on the nocturnal nature of early Christians, and I'm going to basically study how early Christians practiced their religion at night and what that meant for them. If there's some tips I can offer here, it's basically to not be shy and approach a thesis supervisor early. They don't mind, and they are there to help you every step of the way. So, yeah.
Okay, then finally, what are the career prospects for our masters in ancient history? So recently, the Faculty of Humanities did a job market survey, and the results on the question, where do our ancient historians find a job? The results of that you can see here on the slide. So you see that besides the bigger fields of the bigger groups of governmental institutions, educational institutions, and the research fields, our graduates are loved by many other sectors, such as the marketing sector, IT organizations, and of course also a lot of cultural institutions. We, of course, also advise our students to work on their job profile. So on the slide you can see 5 tips for preparing yourself on that job market. And of course, you're not alone here. We at Leiden have the Humanities career service, where I talked already about. So they can help you when on working on your job profile. But also we have a huge alumni network, and we also have a career zone website.